Since 1909, Hargrave Military...
Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check. Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, friends. How are you? Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network. We are streaming live tonight on the first Wednesday of October. We are in October, guys. I was thinking about this today. Where has the year gone? But we knew it was going to be fast because we do astrology. So we knew the energy was speeding up. Now we're in fire and air signs. And we came out of earth and water, which was a tad slow. So get used to this. Just the years are just going to go by so fast. But welcome. We're streaming live tonight on Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. Please like and share. And we are also, you can also listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. And what else? Apple Radio. So I love to podcast. I listen to podcasts all day long. So I'm glad we are back on podcast. I'm so happy for that. So welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. We've made it to Wednesday. And, every day I post on Facebook what the energy, it's kind of like an energy report, right? And I kept saying, this week we're kind of in status quo. It is a slow energy week as far as astrology is concerned. The only thing we really have going on this week is Mercury and Jupiter. And sometimes that's kind of like that transit is like when you're talking to somebody, they can exaggerate a little bit. Like the fish, I caught a fish, it was this big. No, it was this big. You know, kind of that kind of conversations that can go on. I hope y'all are doing well. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. I mean, it's a good week. October, I kind of looked, I briefly looked at October a little bit. I'll look a little bit more. We have a feisty full moon in October in Aries. And anytime you have anything in Aries, it's feisty. There's no getting around it. Hello, David. Welcome. Hello, Miss Lois, Miss Lee. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, Kath and Linda. Hello, Miss Ruru. How are you, dear? How's it going? Hello, Miss Tammy and Miss Crystal. I hope you guys are doing so well tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love to see everybody every Wednesday night. We have good Wednesdays. Hello, Miss Denise. How's Canada doing? Our friends from Canada are sending us a little bit of cool weather. Thank you. I'm ready for the cool weather. Hello, Hoggy. How are you, my dear? I hope you're doing well, my Kentucky friend. Hi, Miss Cindy. How are you, hon? I hope the energy's going well for Miss Cindy. Miss Cindy does the, the bowls, the energy for the bowls. That calms me for some reason. And if you're an air sign, if you have a lot of air, what are air signs? They communicate. It's Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. And they tell you to meditate. It doesn't work for us. We have to hear it. We fall asleep. Air signs have to talk. And meditation doesn't work for us. So if anybody ever looks at an air sign and says, oh, just walk away and meditate. We're like, no, we can't. We cannot meditate. Now, there's the bowls and sound healing is wonderful for air signs. It's good for fire signs. Sit around a fire if you're a fire sign. Water signs can meditate beautifully. They love that. Earth signs can too. Earth signs can go out in the woods and they can sit in the quiet. You're never going to have an air sign sit anywhere where it's quiet. They hate it. They can't. No, it's not going to work. Just a little insight, a little astrology insight. If you do what we call mundane astrology, that is the events that are going on around the world. And I know, Canada, you've got that Aries Neptune going in your ascendant. I know it's a little bit weird, and it's going to ramp up in Canada in February, you guys, because we've got what's happening is all the outer planets control the events, the energy around the world. They're going to start to come out. They're all in retro right now, which means things have slowed down. They pretty soon, starting with Pluto in October, it's going to station and it's going to go direct. And then we've got everybody starts to move directly. So that's when things will really amp up. US, February 2026, everything. Has anybody got anything they want to share before we get started? I hope you guys are doing well. It's a good Wednesday. It's been a good week. I'll be quite honest. I'm really glad that the eclipse is over. Singing bowls. I love them. I do too, Linda. I love them. Miss Cindy does those. And check Cindy out on Facebook because she does a reading every day as well. And her reading, I started to read in the mornings. I would do the astrology. And then I would read her card readings. I just started to notice. I'm like, Cindy, and then I text her and I'm like, Cindy, these are matching almost identically to the astrological occurrences. It's really weird. And they continue to match. It's not, I don't know why I think it's weird. I don't, it's not weird. It's sync. Crystal's still giving meditation. Even my father. No. Why? why are you setting yourself up, Miss Gemini? Fire Moon, Gemini, why are you setting yourself up to get pissed and be mad and frustrated? Go out and bang a drum or something. Go listen to bowls. Go out and listen to music. The old college try. Good luck with that, air sign. Let me know how it works for you, Crystal. Rolling with the punches. Yeah, that's all we can do, right? That is so funny. Giving it my old college try. Good luck with that. Good luck, Crystal. Let me know how that works. Yeah, and Miss Rue is an amazing astrologer. It's amazing how much the cards in astrology, they do, don't they? If two divinations match the most I have ever seen, it's card reading and astrology. And that would be a good rabbit hole to go down sometime. Really would. I have to get out, and Denise reminded me that one show. I need to get out the true crime cards. Remember? From The Reckoning, she has a show on YouTube. She uses true crime cards. She did a deck, and I've got the deck. I got to find it. I have to find them. The universe is in sync to what's going on. Well, let's hope. I think the universe is talking very loudly right now. And I think it's up to us to listen. I think the universe is being as loud. You know, for those of you who are not familiar with astrology, we, as astrologists, and the girls in here that are astrologers can attest to this, there are things going on in the skies that there's no records of. And trust me, the astrology, especially with AI and computers, goes back 3,000 years. We can go back. And some of the things that are forming up in the sky, which are what we call transits, we've never seen them before. So it's kind of it's kind of a crapshoot. There's a lot of things that are happening that they're going back thousands of years that there's no record of it. So it's pretty wild. But now on this show, on Mysteries on the Rift Nation, I use forensic astrology. And Ruru is a forensic astrologer as well. What we do is Kirsty McIntosh, who taught us the best in the world. Kirsty is the best in the world at forensic astrology. And we're so blessed, aren't we, Rue, to call her a friend. And she also has a YouTube channel, but she's in Australia. So it's hard to even text because she's asleep and we're awake. But if you use Kirsty's formula with forensic astrology, it doesn't fail. It absolutely never fails. And she's taught us everything we know. And so we combine with what we call event charts. So if somebody goes missing, we need to know what time, what was the address that they went missing from. If we don't have an accurate, what we call timestamp, we can't, because it's so precise, it's all math, you can't do the chart. It won't be accurate. The mapping comes from the actual astrology chart. The mapping is the map that we give to search and rescue groups. We give it to families to help look for loved ones that are missing. Is it out? Is it out now? She has a new book out too. Is it out? Well, I'll have to get it. I'll put it up next week. I'll get it up next week. She's beyond great. I have to get with her, and I'm going to do it this week because I have a group on Facebook. It's called Astrology, the series, where it's all we do is astrology. And she has agreed to teach a forensic astrology class for everybody in the group. So I have to get with her this week. I have to get with her. She's the best. It's out on Amazon. Oh, I'm going to order that as soon as I get off here. Let's see my friend. See what my friend has to say. My sleuthing friend, the best sleuther out there. It's been my experience that tarot and oracle cards usually are designed to read the room and correspond with the energy. Yeah, there's something else. They're like my little security blanket. They're my little, they're great. All divination is great when you use it properly and respect it. It's all great. Well, let's get started, you guys. I've got like 3 different segments tonight, so I hate to hurry up, but I don't know if y'all are familiar. Do you all remember, I think back in 1991 down in Texas, and it was a mystery for decades. And I've done this. Rue, I think we've done this chart together, if I'm not mistaken. There were 4 girls that worked at a yogurt shop down in Texas, and they were all unalived. And nobody could find who did it. And the perp caught the place on fire. And they've been waiting since 1991 to figure out who may have done this. Through DNA from a bullet, I think they have ID'd this guy who was a serial unaliver. Yeah, I think we did. I remember I did it. A friend of mine, I don't know if y'all, for our true crimers, people will get involved in a certain case and they cannot put it down. I have seen this dozens and dozens of times. People that they don't even know the people involved, but they will get hooked on one specific case and it will bother them so much. And it's an unsolved case. And a friend of mine was like that with this particular case. And I remember doing it for him. And, but of course, I can't really remember what the outcome was. So I'm going to look at that and bring that next week for us. So that one. And we've got some other true crime out there as well. It's hopping. True crime is hopping right now. Plus with the mundane stuff, the other stuff. Yeah, there were 4 of them. There were 4 girls in the yogurt shop. Remember that? And then were those additional girls, 2 or 3 additional women? Yeah. And I thought it was wonderful. The daughter of this man got on and publicly, apologized to the families and said, I am so sorry for what my father put you all through. I thought that was very courageous for somebody to come up and just say that. She's so courageous. So let's get started, you guys. I could talk about true crime all night. Just to kind of wrap up a couple of these cases. And then I got, oh, whoops. I didn't put him first, did I? Oh, wait, these are kind of mixed up. Let me go back a little bit. Let me see who that is. Oh, this is little Darius. Okay, remember last week we looked at little Darius, who was 5 years old. He was camping for our friends in Canada, Alberta, Canada, and I charted it, and we saw on the chart that little Darius was at the park camping at Fifth House, but we didn't have a place where he was at, and actually where they claimed he was inaccurate. So Denise sent me some information this week, and it was so hard to try to find where they were talking about Denise. But I want to show you guys something. They're still searching for little Darius. There's over 200 search and rescuers all throughout Canada. They're pulling out the stops for this little boy, Darius Mcdougall. He was walking through the woods, 5 years old, with siblings and other kids, and he took off, which little boys do that. And they take off and they're gone in 30 seconds, they're gone. You turn your head. Well, Darius is nonverbal, and he gets scared when people yell out his name. And so now, if you see that it says Crow's Nest, that's where they had told us he was at. However, he was down more toward Tent Mountain, which was 2.5 miles south of that area. So what I did is I did a circle around the 2.5 miles, and I pulled up the map from last week. You guys, look at this. Boom. Right where that yellow arrow is about 2.5 miles down south, or straight down south. But look at those lines that are really compacted together. That's where I think they should look for him. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. It's been a week. They said probably a 5% survival rate, which it's been a week, and they said it's getting cold at night. So when I looked at those south lines, I thought, well, I'm not going to remap this because the lines are going right there. So there's 2 sets of those lines, and I imagine that's where they're going to find him. So we'll keep our eyes open. And Denise, if you see where that location changes because you're in Canada and get a better, they stopped the search for now, but will continue to follow tips. Well, there's not going to be any tips. That's a shame, isn't it? They've already ruled out foul play. They've ruled out foul play. Well, they've pulled out the stops, Denise, for this little one. I mean, they've had any kind of dog, anything. There was a lot of running water there, so we'll keep an eye out and see. Thanks, Keith. Thank you so much. So that's little Darius. That's just kind of an update on that little one. If anybody hears anything, please send me a PM and let me know. And now we've got, and I'll tell you who this is, Canada friends. I really, at the time this was going on, I have to be more than honest, I was driving 1,000 miles a week. I was driving about 200 miles each way, 100 miles a day. 200 miles a day. My bad. 200 miles a day, 100 each way, back and forth to work. And that was around in 2016, 2015 to about 2019, till lockdown, whenever that was, 2020. I wasn't paying attention to anything that was going on around me, because when you drive that much, you're in your car. I mean, and you work in your car, so you don't really pay attention to much that was going on. So I've had to retrace all my steps because indictments are starting to come in to former very high top people that were in our government. This guy was a former FBI chief. He has just recently been indicted. Well, if I see anybody gets indicted, I'm going to pull up their chart and see what's going on. But of course, I really didn't know a whole lot about him or what was going on. So I had to do all the back history on this case. They have released troves and troves of information that you can get on websites and go through. And it's almost like if you're not a legal eagle, or it's hard to go through a bunch of this stuff. So I follow people that are lawyers on YouTube and have their own shows that kind of I cheat that will do it for you. I also use AI. But I don't really rely on AI with a lot of this stuff because you've got to double check everything with AI. But this guy, and I'll give you a little bit of back information. He was the former FBI chief. He's got a long history. He's a lawyer. And when he was fired, he worked for the Justice Department. He was in charge of the FBI. He was leading an investigation into what they call Russian interference in the 2016 election and potential connections between Russia and Trump. Well, what has happened, and they've released all this information, is is we all know that Trump and Clinton were running against each other. Okay, so they were running against each other. I wasn't paying attention because I was driving everywhere all over the state of Kentucky. So what happened is, as politicians do, and they do dirty tricks, she was losing she got in trouble for some emails that she shouldn't have taken home and had on a private server. So she was being seen in a bad light during the campaign. So she and the team came up with an idea that they were going to come up with a dossier. So she took money out of her campaign funds and paid for a guy to come up with fake information. That's basically what happened. It's all out now. It's all out. You read all the papers where she's caught. It was a rotten trick. She had to pay fines, I think because she used election funds. I'm not sure about that, but she was fined a considerable amount of money. Rotten trick, yeah. Illegal, doubt it. It's just rotten. It's just, I guess that's just how they are. They play those games. They want to make their opponent look nasty. So what happened is this Comey and a bunch of other people went to Obama in December of 26. No, it was in the summer of 2016, and said, we have looked at our intelligence. They had all of the intelligence people say there has been zero collusion. Nothing to see here. They have not interfered. So, and you can go look up these emails and the information, because I read it. I was going to post it here, but there's so much. And Obama said, no, take it back. I want to see basically Russian collusion. So they're all like, what? No, there isn't any. Well, that started this whole Russia thing with Trump for like 4 years. It paved the way for an impeachment. It paved the way for one impeachment, I believe. But come to find out, it ruined a lot of people's lives, because there's a what's called a FISA court. It's a secret court. It's set up for intelligence people to go and get warrants by secret judges to spy on people that are non-Americans, that are out of the country, foreign interference. Well, apparently Comey took this dossier, which now they knew it was fake. We now know it was fake. 10 years later? It was made up just to make an opponent look bad. None of the stories were true. And took that to a FISA court and lied to a FISA judge, which is a huge no-no, and got a warrant. This warrant was put on Trump. They tapped his phones. They did all of this. And what happened is she lost the election. She was not supposed to lose. They didn't think she was going to lose. She did. It just kept snowballing and snowballing. So they used this, make a long story short, they used this fake information that came from her campaign as kind of a dirty, rotten trick. I mean, it's pretty, I think I know they all do it. We all know they do stuff, rotten tricks, but you don't carry it out to the point where you're spying on people, you're getting fake, lying to a FISA judge, which to me should be a lot more trouble than anything he's alleged to have done now. Well, move ahead. He went in front of Congress and testified and said, no, I didn't leak to the press, which now we know through emails that he did. So it's just a big mess. So it was just a big mess. It just kept snowballing and snowballing. But when you look at his chart, I'm going to show you why. That's kind of the backstory. Okay, so, but you can go check out all these emails. They've been released. It's all documented. It's all there. You can read it. So he detailing his interactions with Trump to Richmond. Richmond was his friend. He leaked information. In June 2017, he gave his friend memos in an attempt to get a special counsel appointed following his firing. He was fired. By the leak of these memos, which contained classified information, it doesn't appear related to the indictment, which is focused on the Clinton and the Trump probe. Now, I'm going to tell you something about indictments. No one knows. They're top secret. The press doesn't know what's in these indictments. They use secret witnesses. Nobody knows. The only people that know what goes on with the grand jury, and if you've sat for grand jury duty, it's top secret. You're not allowed to discuss it. They don't know who came in and testified against him. They don't know their information. And the press is making fun of the fact that she had a 2-page indictment. Well, Rudy Giuliani did too before he blew down the house in New York City with the mafia with a RICO charge. They have what are called superseding indictments. They get you in. This is what I'm telling you. They get you in and get you with these charges. He is charged with, I don't know, leaking stuff and lying to Congress. Not a big deal, but it's still 10 years. You're looking at you can get in trouble for that. You don't lie to Congress. So you watch. His arraignment is, I think, October the 9th. He's going to get slapped with a superseding indictment coming up because I looked and they have impaneled another grand jury that's due in January of 2026 in Florida. There's 3 of them. So, and they're people. So I think all of these people that were involved in this little scam, I don't know what else to call it, are they're going to all get clumped together. It's going to be, we're going to see almost like, I think it's going to be close to, it's not a RICO, but it's going to be similar because they're impaneling grand juries all over. The next impanelment of grand juries are down in Florida, Southern Florida. There's 2 of them. That's 2 of them right now. And they're due in February. But people are like, why February? That's not enough time. And I'm like, I'm working on our docket right now for February. That's normal time if you go through court, it takes time. But that's the backstory, girls, for people that didn't know, that don't know. It's kind of like a dirty trick that they took further just to ruin, I guess, get him impeached. We're going to have to wait and see. It's coming out. So, and one thing, he's getting out on social media and saying he's innocent. Now, there's no attorney on this earth that when you're under indictment that you get out and talk. You shut up. You stop. I'm going to show you why he can't. So this is his chart. We don't have a time. Okay. He's a sun in Sagittarius. Look at that. 10th house. Remember, we always talk about famous people in the 10th house. They've got a packed 10th house. He's got a sun up there. Mercury is up there. Midheaven. Look at the midheaven in Sag. This is a very personable person. He's got personality. When we have somebody that we want to see what's going on with them talking like he does all the time, we look at Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communications. Well, what do you know? His Mercury is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is known for being extremely blunt. And I love Sag. They're the funnest sign. They have more fun than any other sign in the zodiac, and they're the best to be around because they're the party people. They have a blast. They're very positive. But they talk. They talk a lot. And it's up in his 10th house. So you would look at that chart and say, watch your career with your talking. You got to be mindful of your tongue. Look at the pink, you guys, on his natal chart. He's got what we call a T-square. He's got two planets that are squaring each other. Guess who they're squaring? Well, what do you know? Who's at the apex of that T-square? Mercury. His ascendant and Pluto are opposing. It's the pink triangle. It's called a T-square. T-squares are action. It's you have to, when you see a T-square, they demand action. You have to deal with this in your natal chart. If you don't deal with this, it's gonna keep coming back and coming back. And boy, is this coming back, because we got Mercury at the apex. So we're saying, look, you're sad, you're wonderful, you're personable, everybody likes you, you're friendly. Watch your mouth in the workplace, because it'll hurt your career if you're not careful with this T-square. Because Pluto is about power. What house is that in? It's about scandals. It's in the 7th house. Open enemies, relationships. What is it hitting? It's hitting his rising. What? That's self. That's you. So if you don't deal with this T-square, and he's in his 60s by now, dude, look what's happening. Pluto is right there with his north node. The north node in Virgo is saying, get the details, be analytical, get the facts. It's all in his chart. What's going on in his chart now? We've got North Node Pluto in his natal chart are squaring Mercury. I put it in red because remember when you were in school and you had a teacher that had a red pen? I would have red penned him and said, dude, this is your destiny, is to deal with this T-square. I've got one, but it's in a different house placements, but it's in my natal chart like this. If you don't deal with these T-squares, they continue to come back and they're the hardest aspect in astrology. You have to deal with it. And they're hard. You have to bust through it. So we've got ego, which is 1st house, going up against analytical Virgo, saying you have to have the details. Stop the power tripping, get the details, and Mercury is the apex. That's where does it explode? It explodes out of Mercury and Sag up in the 10th. And he got fired. So it's all there. What's happening to him right now? Lord have mercy. Pluto just moved into his 12th house. That's hidden enemies. It's going to be, at the time of his arraignment right now, it is conjunct Venus, which is money. Or it could be female relationship of some, but I'm sure he's married probably. Now, then I look at Saturn and Neptune, who are in retrograde. Okay. They're back in the 1st house. They're going back over saying, this is what you did. I'm gonna fix it. Once they rev back up, guess where they're hitting? His house of money. This is going to cost him a fortune. This is not going to be a one done and out. This is because it's going back into the house of money. Okay, then we're going to look at Jupiter. Jupiter is legal issues. Jupiter is in his 5th house, which is a great house to be in. Okay, next year it's going to be moving into his 6th house. It's going to be, and then we look at his 9th house, which is legal issues. Jupiter is going to be squaring his natal moon. Now, that's emotions, intellect, Jupiter is legal, and he's got that in a square. So this Jupiter expands everything. That's why I keep thinking this is going to be like in the spring and early spring when this Jupiter moves and that starts to square onto that moon. Jupiter is legal stuff. Ninth house. Look at that. Moon is in the ninth house. So we got Pluto. He's got some Uranus is just about hitting into his fourth house, which is home, which could be a change of home. It could be breakthroughs in the home. But next spring, guess what? Uranus is going to be doing up in the 10th house, you guys. Yep. It's going to be opposing that Mercury. Make a deal, sir. Make a deal. Do a deal. Deal. Take a plea. Talk. Do something. Uranus hitting that Mercury is just going to blow things wide open. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and I'm going to keep digging because there's more coming. There's more to this with what I can see in this. But I always feel bad for people with T squares because I was born with one like that. And if it follows you like like an X around. I mean, they never go away. If you don't deal with what's in that T square, it will continue to crop its ugly head, especially because it's hitting his north node. Oh, in addition to that, guess what was activated? His nodal axis is in Pisces and Virgo. So the eclipses hit that right when the eclipse hit, right after the eclipse, he was indicted. The eclipse was on September 21st. He was indicted September 25th. And that eclipse, the north node, boom, hit his ascendant. And the north node was opposing his natal north node. So you can thank the eclipse for this indictment because that's what happened to our buddy, Mr. Comey. He's a great guy, very intense, all that sage. You know what's funny is Mars is also opposing his Saturn, the 5th and the 11th house. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We'll watch it, but this isn't over. I don't like when Gemini gets up there and starts to oppose. This whole T square is going to be triggered by Gemini. Fasten your seatbelts on these indictments. I think he should deal with the T square. You're so right, Keith. Best to deal with a T square. If you don't, I've got one. You're screwed. My dad has a Sag, loves to talk. Oh, yeah. Sages, they love to talk. They're darling. So that's his info. I will keep up on these and see if I can get some more emails or more information. Now we got an update on another case that we watched is with Trap. Oh my God, I'm sitting here talking and I forget what I'm even talking about. This case was our 3 little girls that were up in Washington, remember? And he picked up the girls on May 30th and told his ex-wife, I will have the girls back this evening on a visitation. He didn't get home that night until he didn't drop them off. So by 10 o'clock that night on May 30th, she was calling the police. On May 31st, the children did not go to a scheduled event they were supposed to go, and it was a race. So again, the police, she alerted the police, mom did, and then unfortunately on June the 2nd, the girls were discovered. The 3 girls were discovered. They had been unalived, all 3 of the little ones, due to suffocation. And all the DNA came back that it was on him, everything. I mean, he did it. He did it. So what happened is, look at this, beautiful state of Washington. This is the terrain they had been dealing with, right? They searched and searched and searched until about 3 weeks ago, FBI came in and said, we're going to do around the perimeter and search and search. Lo and behold, all the groups worked together, and FBI came in and they found bones, 5 different places. They were, of course, scattered. They were all within 0.75 miles of where the girls were found. 3/4 of a mile, they were found, scattered. So they will never know what the cause of unalive was, because it is what it is. He's been all summer. But again, we can look at this event chart. Pluto with the orange circle around it is the unaliving at the campground, fun place. Libra is the rising, which would be multiple victims, 2 plus, because it's a dual sign. We have Gemini, and then we have Libra that can indicate to us in a criminal chart that it's more than one person. He is represented by Mars, which is the 11th house. Sun represents him as Dad, the green arrow. 9th house in an event chart is going to be by a highway. It can be out in the woods, out in the open. 9th house is out in the open. 10th house is right there out in the open. 9th house is outdoors, and it actually could be campgrounds or wooded areas. Children are represented by Mercury. Again, Gemini, more than one victim. And on the perp line, which is the 7th house cusp, we've got Saturn, which would be the remains. Definitely mental illness. We have Saturn and Neptune are conjunct. This is one of the saddest stories because of these beautiful young little babies. It was suffocation. Algol and Uranus were conjunct. Algol is the throat and the head. They're together. I mean, this is like the chart of the perfect storm. The girls were hidden with the moon. But look how they're tied to Dad. This is just such a sad, what angels. So this is where the campsite was. Now, we don't know where all of they said they found in 5 different areas. 5 different areas. So I looked at the map again. My best bet is he either went north or east, but I don't know. Within that small radius, the chart was absolutely, the chart gate. Let's look at the mileage on the chart. It was like 3/4 of a mile. So that chart says 5. Oh gosh, I got the chart right in front of me. 0.5 miles, 5 miles. So, and 0.6 miles. So we had 0.5, which is close to 0.7. So he's about a half a mile away. So when he's scattered everywhere, they haven't found it. Yeah. There's no, I doubt it. They said there's no way they're going to be able to figure it out, but they know from and the clothing and the DNA and that it was him, but he was 5 different areas. And that's what happens out in the woods with, I hate to say this, it's terrible to say, but with animals and the elements, that's just what happens. But again, that chart, and there's the area. Somebody had a drone on the area. Kudos to the FBI for not giving up. I love that. You know, and I thought about her when he was found because of his violence and his mental illness. How did she ever rest? Number one, losing 3 of her beautiful daughters. But number 2, knowing he may still very well be out and alive and coming after her. So I think it's wonderful for her. You know, and she's been very outspoken and has repeatedly said that law enforcement didn't fail us. Nobody failed us. The system failed him. She repeatedly tried to talk about his mental condition, and she knew it. So the system failed him. So it's just a terrible situation. But that chart, we'll have to wait, and we'll get more pictures and more information as it goes on. But for now, that was the chart, 0.6 miles. I don't know, Rue, if you want to add any more to the mapping, or if you got to think of anything else. You get into these areas where, little Darius is and where these girls were. I mean, look at this. Look at this. It's like walking in Kentucky. It's Lois. It's been. I see it all the. It's been. It's just. I'll be honest with you. It's getting the attention it has deserved for decades, since the 1980s. It's now getting the attention it deserves, and that is to get facilities back up and running with good care. Not like what it was like when I was little, because people were abused in those facilities, but to monitor them, but we need facilities again. They need to reopen the ones that were shut down. State facilities where people are placed and can get the help that they need. But it's been there. It's just getting a lot more attention, because I think a lot of it is due to social media. And a lot of these cases had the creators on social media and the true crime community not screamed and hollered. Little Emmanuel in California, that case would have been thrown off to the wind. And because of the pressure, we found out that the father had put another child in the hospital, and now he's missing his son. And, a lot of these people get out and they shouldn't. And that's getting a lot of great attention too. I've been screaming about that for years. You guys know that. They let these people out. But just beautiful little girls. I'm glad for the mother that he was found. I know that's a lot of stuff. I feel like I yapped the whole time. Just to keep my mouth shut. So there's a lot going on right now. So I'll keep track of everything that's going on. If you guys hear anything on little Darius, let me know. We'll keep our eyes open. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Lois is a nurse. She knows. And Vicky, my little friend, is a therapist. And I always tell her, oh, the stars are doing this or that. Your phone's going to go off the wall. And we talk about it all the time, about mental health, about what's happening. So the red flags are always there. But what are people supposed to do? There's no place to put them. Oh, don't get me started on that, Miss Linda. It's ridiculous. They let people out or plea deal down, and most of the communities aren't kept informed. Even some of the victims are not informed, Linda, and you all know that as well. It's some of these places that let these people go. It's just beyond me. And they repeat and they repeat. We had another one just occur about a month and a half ago in South Carolina. 29 felonies, and he was out walking the streets. It's got to change. It's got to stop. So, well, you guys, that's it for this week. We're going to take a look at the yogurt case next week. That's a, the old serial unaliver case right there. So it is. It's, to be their families. It is. It's terrible that they're letting them out. And the thing about it is, Linda, why? Why are these judges and the prosecutors letting these people walk? What is the reasoning behind it? If somebody is convicted and has 29 felonies, they do not belong on the streets. Why are they constantly letting them out? That's my question. If I were the press, that would be my question to the city council, to the mayor, to everybody. Why are they allowing these people to walk? What is it? What's the purpose? I don't know. But at least it's getting the attention it deserves now. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. This is my favorite time of the year. We'll do the serial guy next week. And anybody have any thoughts before we go? I'm working in the software now to try to help the doctors and nurses to document the screenings and monitor. There is a huge issue we are talking about all the time. Absolutely. Oh, there's some really good cases going on too, you guys, that are breaking that I'm going to dig into and just look at. Happening in St. Paul, Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minnesota. A lot of stuff breaking there too. So everybody have a great week. Talk to you Friday. Haunted Nights Paranormal Events. Yep. Well, everybody have a great week. Be safe. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I think that's about it. Thanks so much. And we'll do the yogurt case next weekend. So have a great weekend, everybody. And I will see you next Wednesday for another edition of Mysteries. Take care. Thank you.